we go. What do you think about Estill Method?
Good. So I talked about this a little bit, and I mentioned it the other day. I think for years and years and years, one of my mentors, who I adore, but one of the people that helped me get down on my path of teaching, was very adamantly against certain methodologies. And I just always had a problem with that because then I'd hear singers that came out of some of these methodologies, and I'd be like, but they're good. Like that person sounds good. And my mentor's argument was, well, that's one person. Well, this world is billions of people, so I don't know if it really is only one person or if I can find other people who are also getting great results from a given method. I think with any method, including my own, you're going to find people who respond well to it and who don't. I graduated a student a couple years ago from my university that I adore. The girl sees things in colors. She tells you that her high notes are red or bright red or dark red. And you ask her what that is to her, and she can't really tell you anything with color. You say, well, do you feel anything? No. Does it place anywhere? Not really. How do you repeat that? I don't know. I just do. It's red. I'm not the teacher for her. I admired this student so much, and I want nothing but the best for her. I found a teacher that was for her, and she's doing great.
Yeah.
But, nobody is for everybody, and that's okay. The Estill method works with a lot of recipes, and you got to understand history. The history of the Estill method was that she was trying to bring legitimacy to these musical theater and commercial music styles when everybody was just saying, oh, that's just garbage singing, and they wanted nothing to do with it. So Jo Estill, she fought a massive battle, and we all have a huge debt of gratitude towards her for the work that she did. She was one of the first people to try to use research and x-ray images to find out what was actually going on to help singers understand what was happening in their voice. She's also passed away a good 10 or more years. I can't remember exactly. And it's now her disciples is a bad word. It feels cult-like. But the people that she taught who now carry on her work are the ones who do that. Now, I've had talks with some of these people who are high up in the Estill leadership, and you have a mix of people who really want to stay more on the conservative side of sticking to the truth of what Estill did, even if we have some science that suggests it might be a little different now. And then you have a set of people in the Estill method who are trying to integrate some of the new scientific understanding into it. So you're going to find that with everything. You're going to find that in any technique where the founder is no longer with us. Does that mean we throw it out? I lean on the side of no, because I think that we have to learn from those who came before us and those who are doing great work instead of just going, well, they're not here anymore, throw that out. I also think we have to look at anything that's producing good results with some people and go, well, why does that work? What are they figuring out? What could I learn from that? And the way we do that is consider the lens through which they're seeing the world. Jo Estill was seeing the world through a lens of somebody who worked with a lot of music theater people who needed ways to help them navigate musical theater styles where everything's different. You'll have something that's more rock like Hair, or then you back, when she was doing this work, or Carousel. So Hair and Carousel were more of the extremes back then than nowadays where we have Rock of Ages and American Idiot. And she knew she had to help her clients figure out how to get into one sound and then get into another. So these recipes that she came up with really help some singers who have to jump between multiple styles know exactly where they're going. Now, other people will tell you, well, that makes it too rigid and it makes it too formulaic. And I don't want to be up on stage thinking I now have to do soft palate position 2 with sob quality, with false vocal fold retraction on top of thick fold, because that takes me out of my storytelling. I think that's a totally valid point of view. And if your voice responds more from another approach that lets you get to where you need to go, then that's probably the approach for you. But I definitely think we need to be looking at what everybody is doing and working with it and trying to learn everything that we can from it, because that's the only way that we all advance and grow together.
Yeah. Hey, got a visitor. No problem. No problem. Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Do we need to redo that?
Oh, were you recording?
Yes, I told you that.
I didn't know you were recording. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens. I think it's very sympathetic. We're real people. We have families. And
my wife is desperately trying to keep me fed because I have a bad habit of scheduling myself, 6 hours with no break. So, but she's a voice teacher too, and her and I have these talks as well. So let's get back to just summarizing that is, my opinion of the Estill method is nothing of that but admiration for somebody who broke a mold and said, these singers deserve respect. These singers deserve techniques that work for them. And she did everything in her power at the time she was alive to give us answers. I think we have some new science available that may say and indicate that some of the things that she thought she discovered may not be as accurate as we thought. And that's not a slight.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a high speed, 4K video camera to capture images in the 1980s, that wasn't her fault. That was just technology. So that's why I also think that we want to learn from what Estill has to do, and we want to learn from what today's pedagogues are saying and what they're bringing into the mix. And we want to merge everything together and be open-minded until we find the tools that work for the singer and the context they work in and the style of music that they sing. And then I think we all grow together and everybody finds their sweet spot.
Yeah, thank you. I really don't have anything to add to that because I thought that was great. I just want to reaffirm that there have been many pioneers that have brought about positive change, and Estill is definitely one of those.
Yeah.
And I am also a believer that we need to see if the methodology is working for some people, then I think that's great. And there's a ton of value in the Estill method, as there is a ton of value in a lot of other methods. I think if you want to continue, if you want to keep your growth mindset, and there we go again, and continue to improve and learn, you've got to be willing to accept the fact that of advancement. If we didn't accept the value of the pioneers that came in the past, why would we even talk about bel canto singing anymore? It's like saying, what do you think of bel canto singing? What do you think of Estill? Of course, it's hard for us to know exactly what you mean by that question, but generally, I fully agree with Matt on that subject. And thanks for asking the question. It gives us a chance to share our point of view that we shouldn't be fixated within a methodology to believe, this is my opinion, that only that methodology has all the answers. That, for me, is a big mistake. But we should also respect the efforts and thought and research and time that went into just trying to help singers everywhere. And any system that produces great results, even if it's for 10% of singers, I'm really happy about that, because those 10% of singers, they got a lot of value out of that. No system works for everybody.